All right. Welcome to all the attendees to the OST Commission meeting. I'm really excited to have you guys here. Um, this will be a meeting where we seek to set the parameters for current and future commission meetings as we move forward and the committee. So lots of exciting and good work to come. All right. We have 6 commissioners, so that means we have a quorum. Yes. Um, I am calling the Commission on Out of School Time Grants and Youth Outcomes, calling it to order. And it is 6:07. All right. I can go to the next thing. All right. So I'm going to roll call for attendance. Margot, Marcus Coates, Hillary Desir, Matt Hanson, here. Kiara Jenkins, Andrea Jones, Joanne Lamparter. Am I saying it right? Awesome. Walter Peacock, Kelly Bajan Verlin, and Shanita Lowe. I believe that was 6 of us. Who keeps count of that? Yes? All right, so we have a quorum. All right, so we need to vote to approve the agenda in minutes, and it will be taken by roll call style. Um, please take a moment to review and motion to approve the agenda. Okay, can I get a second? Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, first and second. And this is for the agenda and for the minutes. We're going to do both. I just wanted to make sure because you said you weren't sure. Okay. All right. Cool, 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 cool. Maybe. All right. So agenda, I had a first and a second, Margot. I still gotta go through all the names. Marcus Coates, Hillary Desir, Matt Hanson, Kiara Jenkins, Andrea Jones, Joanne Lamparter, Walter Peacock, myself, Bajan, and Dr. Lowe. I'm gonna take it that there were all ayes for the agenda. No one. We're approving the agenda. So I'll go through it one more time. Margot, do you approve the agenda? Okay, thank you. Marcus Coates. Oh, I can use my big girl voice. Wait a minute. That's not a problem. I figured, okay, yes. Margot. All right. Marcus Coates. Hillary Desir. Matt Hanson. You approve? No, do you approve the minutes? I mean the agenda. I just want to make sure. Okay. Kiara. Okay. Andrea. Approved. All right now. Joanne. Yes. Walter. I approve. Bujan is not here. And Dr. Lowe, who normally does not vote. So, all right. So those are approved. Now minutes. Got it. I need a second. I love it. Okay. Margot. Okay. Marcus Coates. Hillary Desir. Matt Hanson. Yes. Kiara Jenkins. Andrea. Joanne. Walter. I approve. And Bajan's not here. All right. So did that pass? Because I wasn't counting the people. Yeah, Satan is not abstaining. Okay, then we're good. Love it. Yes. I believe there were 3.
Commissioner Berkey, Commissioner Lamparter, and Commissioner Jenkins.
Okay. All right, so minutes and agenda are approved, and we're going to move on. At this moment, I believe that we do not have any public comments who put in time? Because I think it's 2 days prior, and so we didn't have any. Yes.
Sorry. Mine's not exactly a public comment. I think I forwarded a copy of a letter we had DC Action had sent out around the added security costs for out of school time programs. I guess I'd like a moment maybe just to talk about it. And then uh, I don't know if it's something to like vote on, but just something for us to, I guess first quick was if I could just have a moment to speak about it and then I can go from there.
Because I don't have a public speaker right this second, and I know what this topic is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say okay. Normally that probably would not be the case, but we were gonna talk about it somehow anyway, so we might as well get it over with.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I can wait to the.
No, come on, please. Let's talk about it.
Just I forwarded a letter that we at DP Action had circulated around the security costs, and I can pull up the details. It's helpful. The short version is it looks like it's probably about $1 million of security costs that are going to be shifted from DCES to out of school time programs, and we're still hoping that the executive can address it. Find some way to absorb the cost that doesn't land on programs, but it's potentially would be a real challenge for programs. We convened our coalition the other day. We have about 80 members and some folks who don't necessarily want it to be on the record, but they talked about, needing to scale back their programs or cut hours or cut back in schools. I don't want to like catastrophize or anything like that, but it's not good if the full-time programs have to absorb an additional $1 million in security costs. And I guess I would like to encourage us to encourage the DME to work to continue to find a way to close the gap in funding. I'm not sure what could be reprogrammed. I don't have a specific recommendation like take money from here, don't put it here. But if we could just issue something for us that the DME weigh in on this or something.
Okay, so you're asking that DME weigh in on the security cost?
Yeah, I guess to work to try to find funding or reprogram funding to cover those costs. So programs don't need to absorb that additional cost.
Okay. And I can't speak for another organization as far as what they are allowed to do or whatever, or could do. But it's on record that you're requesting that DME maybe look for some funding to be able to support the security costs.
Yeah.
For this out of school time program.
Can I share a plugin really quickly? Is it okay?
Of course, this is Dr. Lowe. She's going to share a plugin.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. So the DME is over all of education in DC, and I have heard from not only our grantees, but other stakeholders, the concerns around the security costs because it will negatively impact OST, period. What I would encourage other agencies to do, if you have equal concerns or similar concerns, is to communicate them to Deputy Mayor Kine. I have done so on behalf of the OST office already. He's out for the next week on vacation, but prior to him leaving, I did share with him that, hey, we're getting multiple concerns being raised by our partners that the cost to be incurred is to the extent that either they will have to decrease significantly the number of students served or quite frankly close a program because it's not practical to or sustainable. So I've done what I can. He responded and said that he will circle back with me once he returns from vacation, but that's only my office. So I would encourage other offices, other agencies to communicate their concerns to him because I think should he hear it from multiple sources, it will have much more of an impact. So that's my 2 cents that I've elevated the issue the best way I can, and I'll circle back around with him once he returns from his break.
And on those same lines, Dr. Lowe, do you believe that it would be beneficial if grantees reached out as well? Or should it just be agency level?
I think it would be more impactful if, for example, DC Action had a letter that had all the grantees that are in support of whatever the content of the letter says, to encourage folks to pay attention to what they're saying.
Got it. Okay, and I'll work on something here at OSI because it affects ours too. Yes, Margo.
The potential reduction of food service costs.
Yeah.
The reduction of food service cost. Oh, the loss of the supper program.
To cover that.
Mhm.
And the cost of covering security. But the downside is that children will not get the same level of meal
Right,
they have been receiving. And they really depend on it in many communities.
absolutely.
So I know DCPS has raised that back to the council to try to get the funding back, but I don't think that it was restored.
I don't think it was.
Yeah,
You said it was not?
I don't believe it was.
Oh, okay. I didn't think so either, but I didn't want to, can't quote me on that one. So then there are two topics from what I'm hearing, one of which is the security, the other one is the cut in the supper and snacks program. Okay. All right. Thank you for bringing that up.
I can hear everything that Dr. Lowe was saying.
Dr. Lowe was saying that agencies should send something to Deputy Mayor Kine to say that we need this for the programs, for the out of school time programs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So from the grantees and the impact it will have, so she has detailed what we have heard would be the impact to DM as she was saying that he is on vacation this week, but he did respond to say that he will be in touch with DCPS upon return. He's kind of waiting for a response from them right now, but he did encourage such as DC Action to also reach out to DMI.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've asked individual programs, and we know some folks have reached out directly, and to members of the council. I guess the other thing that I can maybe offer us to do is I'll see if we can maybe circulate something for individual commissioners to forward something to the DME and or chancellor on this. I think it's something that I know is a tighter budget that we all would have hoped for this past year, but I think we want to just make sure that there's an undue harm.
Absolutely.
From some of the tightness of the budget.
Okay. Thank you.
Dr. Lowe, you said in the chat that she would also encourage grantees to send a collective letter outlining their concerns, if that is an issue that is of concern to them.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay. And so my takeaway from that is, as a representative of OSI, I need to work on something to be able to send over for my grantees. And then if you are in other organizations and agencies, you may want to take that back as well. Okay.
And I think the final thing is if we get a response from or I should say, when we get a response from the DME, that can be shared with the commission. Just to hear what's the problem is making.
Okay. Absolutely. When we get a response, we'll definitely share that information with the commission.
Can I share one last thing? Can
Sure,
everyone hear
course.
me?
Can you hear her?
So like I mentioned before, DME will hear it from all different avenues, all different ends. So I've shared my concerns already. Hopefully other agencies share their concerns. If DC Action feels inclined, they do the same. I would also recommend, if there is consensus, that the commission have a posture as well on this.
Right. We were just Commissioner Hanson was just saying about the commissioners putting something together as well. And so what I am thinking is, hi Vice, if you can put something together for us to represent the commissioners, appreciate it. Any other comments or thoughts around that before we move forward? Yes.
That came into my radio well stars on 24 his last earlier. That she requested to be circulated to the commissioners on the same topic.
Absolutely. Yep. And we'll be able to put that all in the email, the what she wrote as well. Okay. Well, let's put it in the follow-up. Okay. All right. Next, we will be talking about our strategic reflections or topical discussion. And our topical discussion this week is how do we define OST? Let me be a little bit more specific when I say how do we define OST? We need to define it for the purpose of the uniform OST evaluation and impact assessment that we do by the commission. And so we need to start thinking about, as we know, even without the Fruman bill, we have to collect data, right? Out of school time programs. But our definition for out of school time is so broad and so wide, it's very difficult for us to think that a program that meets 1 hour a week and programs that meet 12 to 15 hours a week are going to be able to share all of the data that we need to. And so as a commission, we need to think about what is our definition as to who would need to be able to supply that data and information that we would need to be able to evaluate the programs. So, all right. So we did a little bit of research, and the National Association or the National After School Association says that out of school time, before school, after school, school vacation, holidays, and summer, right? But it doesn't tell us anything about time frame or how many hours. It does recognize that it's for ages 5 to 18 during the time that they are not in school. The DC Deputy Mayor for Education's office, based on the Establishment Act of 2016, defines out of school time as a structured, supervised learning or youth development opportunity offered to district children and youth before school, after school, on weekends, or during seasonal school breaks. Again, it's not telling us a time frame because, or that group, absolutely. And so when we talk about out of school time, we already know that we can name the times, right? Before school, after school, right? I've said it a couple of times. Youth is defined as an individual of 21 years of age or less who is eligible to enroll in a district primary or secondary school, or an individual of 22 years of age or less who is eligible to receive special education um, during the times when they are not in school. So when we're talking about youth, that's who we're talking about, right? So this is what we are proposing. Um, Out of school time occurs at varied dosage levels for the purpose of the uniform OST evaluation, impact assessment, data collection, and to evaluate the correlation between OST attendance and student outcomes. The OST programs considered for data collection across all agencies shall occur for a minimum of 6 hours a week, focus on positive youth outcomes, and use a positive youth development framework. I'll pause for a second, waiting for applause. This is open for conversation. Absolutely.
Where they might not, or like it might be a partnership between two groups. Somebody's doing like snack and home and work health, and then another group is coming in and doing soccer or arts-based programs. So like sometimes the activity is 1 hour. 45. Or 45 minutes if they're pre-K through pre-K4.
So for pre-K 3 and pre-K 4, you're saying that you think it should be 5 hours a week?
In general, I would say 5.
Okay. Oh, per day. I see what you're saying. Okay. So Monday through Friday for 1 hour a day.
Yeah.
Okay. Thoughts, comments? I
Um, I think the 5 hours, it's close to home side, the 5-year-old, and his stuff is like 45 minutes to an hour usually. But I was gonna ask, Is there any consideration that needs to be given to the length of the program, like for over X number of weeks? Or a quarter or a semester? I mean, folks who are better versed in this
Okay.
might have insight.
So, when you're saying that, what you're thinking about is, we'll start with the number of hours, but then you're also asking about for how many weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, the duration of the program, because you can do 5 hours a week for 3 weeks, and then total dosage. Mm-hmm.
They're there like 6 hours to 8 hours a day, so maybe it's just like a total dosage.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think that's when it's like sitting for like spring break camps and stuff like.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Other thoughts? Because I'm trying to think about how we can incorporate some of the things that you're saying. And what I hear you saying is the dosage, a total, like have a total number for school year and a total number for summer. Like, is this what you're talking about? Or are you saying, let me tell you where the 6 hours a week came from. Okay.
That's what
Yep. The 6 hours a week. Um, the Learn 24 grants have a minimum, and help me if I'm saying something incorrectly, have a minimum in their grants of 6 hours a week. 21st Century, which is over here in Aussie, ours is 12 is the minimum. So hours a week. And we were trying to see, when we have this number of hours, what data are we truly able to collect? And we didn't want programs who had 1 or 2 hours a week to have to collect all of this data. I mean, they have to collect what they need for them, but we were saying if you don't have like the minimum number of 6, then you won't have to report everything to us. If you want to move that to 5, then what you're telling me is that those people will need to report that data to us. And so that's where our 6 came from. That was the minimum number that of the agency programs that we knew about that they had to have per week. And so the idea behind it is to look at the assessment that we can get, like how are they growing? Look at the evaluations. What is the impact of the programs? And so we think that there's a space where you're not going to get as much impact if you're not meeting a certain number of hours a week. So that's where that number came from. So.
To the point of duration, I believe it is more for 21st century. It's 25 weeks minimum for school year for OST and 5 week minimum for this summer. Are you 30 weeks minimum or do you have a minimum?
I don't have a specific minimum as far as how many weeks.
I just wanted to make a conversation.
Yeah.
Be a caveat. I do agree that if it's an 8-hour day, but it's only for the week of spring break or 2 weeks of winter break.
Right. What impact are we getting from that? I understand. For us, for 21st century, it's you're either school year, which means you're operating most of the school year, that first like week and a half, maybe not, and then the last week and a half, right? And then summer, I think our minimum was 4 weeks. I could be making up that number, but most of my programs go 4 weeks, and they do more than 6 hours a week because they're usually like 4 or 5 hours each day. So, but again, the threshold is the 6 hours, and then you report.
In the past, the federal definition of the point at which they felt that it was meaningful to produce data, youth participation was 30 days.
30 days, yes. A minimum of 30 days. They did. Right. Yes. And that's who you would report on if they did 30 days of attendance. And that has shifted, as you said. It is no longer 30 days. For us, I think it's 150 hours for elementary or something like that. So you have to have that many in order to say that they're a regular attendee. And so it really, I'll stop. Other thoughts?
About Counting the session instead of the number of hours.
Counting the sessions instead of number of hours?
Thinking like for our programs at DPR.
DPR?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like an hour a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And there are almost 8 sessions.
Okay.
Sessions.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't necessarily meet 6 hours or that minimum a day, but for the entire duration, they meet, that number of hours. So I think we're able to still gather that. We do still gather that data.
Which data? When you say we still gather that data, what data? You looking at the grades? Are you looking at the?
Well, our programs are recreation developmental, right? So
Mhm.
it's skill sets, right?
Skill sets.
Subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we, can determine the individuals were able to learn. So it's not necessarily, school, but I mean, I guess for the sake of OST, I think for us, it's just the number of times we touch an individual instead of the hours that they meet, because the hours different. Like our spring break camps, our 1-day camps, we have fun days when TCPS is out.
Right.
Every day, on one time.
Right, and you wouldn't be collecting all of the data for those kids, right? For that one day. What is your name? You're Marcus Coates. Hi, Marcus. That's Marcus Coates. I'm excited. Okay. That goes back to the question around which programs we want to collect data from.
Yeah.
Right? And for what purpose?
There's tons of, as you point out, Marcus, there are so many different kinds of activities that are provided that are youth development, whatever. They fit all these criteria, maybe except the number of hours, but they fit the definition of OST.
Correct.
But I guess as a city, what are we interested in learning about? Do we care mostly about programs that are providing academic enrichment? Or do we really want to see how many kids mastered karate? I don't know what we want to know as a city to make it worth our while to just have this definition at this level at this point. Like,
Right.
It has to be toward an end point. Like, what does the city need to learn about the impact of the programs?
Okay.
Can I interject for a second? Is someone
Please,
speaking?
yes. You scared me. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I want to clarify something really quickly. Our posture in this definition, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Safran, Chair Safran, our posture for this definition, it's not a value-based system of who is more important than another.
Absolutely.
Every single OSC program, whether it is for 30 minutes a day to 3.5 hours in the evening, every OST program matters and counts. And it's neither saying one is more important, more valuable than the other. This definition that is being proposed is solely for data evaluation. As was mentioned earlier, we can't compare a 1-hour program from Monday through Friday to a 15-hour program Monday through Friday. It's not the same. We want to compare apples to apples. And so if this 6 hours a week doesn't capture some programs, it's okay. Or whatever, if it's 5 hours, whatever it's decided upon, 5 hours a week, 6 hours, whichever is landed on by the OST Commission is okay. This definition is solely for us to ascertain OST impact, meaning if a student is enrolled in an OST program, 5 hours a week, minimum 6 hours a week, they're more likely to, whether it is increase academically, have less truancy, be in school more, etc. So it's not necessarily about whether we assigning a value system to a program. It's solely for data collection purposes, and it's not us saying one program is more important or more valuable, or we care about one program more than the other. Is to create some element of correlation. If you're involved in OST more, you're more likely to have better grades, you're more likely to attend school more, you're more likely to graduate on time, whatever the metrics are. So I just want to clarify that it's not a value-based definition, it's solely for data evaluation purposes.
Right. Yes, what Dr. Lowe was saying is that it is solely for us to collect information, for evaluation. We need to impact. We want to have apples to apples. We don't want it to be, a 1 hour program compared to a 5 hour program. We are not putting a value on the programs themselves. We're not saying this program is better than this program or anything like that. It's more around who are we collecting that data to show impact. The more that you're in school, in these after school programs, then your grades improve. The more you're in these programs, then your attendance improves. Like that's the impact that we're talking about. Think about the last needs assessment or the needs assessment that we're planning to do moving forward. Think about the things that the Fruman bill was asking us to collect. That's the kind of information that we're talking about. And impact is related to school.
Not only the needs assessment, but for full context, as we talked about that annual progress report.
Annual progress report.
That meets this definition or programs will have to report on those things. So for DPR, I think it's important to think about, does it make sense? For an 8-week, once a week swim program, for example,
To report all this, yes. Right. Yes. Hmm. We are looking at federal and locally funded programs.
Programs which are funded with local tax dollars.
And yes,
Qualify.
correct. Okay. Yes.
I just want to add that I'm a teacher
Mm-hmm.
and I like that you guys have a minimum because I have a lot of students. Like I used to teach in a boarding school
Mm-hmm.
and now I teach uptown, but there's always kids who like they benefit from my taekwondo club if I have an extra hour, because they need their parents work.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you're like the only adult that they can ask for homework help,
Right.
So I really like being here today.
Okay, well, welcome. Um, Commissioners, any other comments, thoughts, concerns?
Oh, I'm sorry. I want to add that it's not just about the impact
Mm-hmm.
that we're considering. I think we also need to consider making certain not to burden. small-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not to burden smaller programs, absolutely. And that's why we were trying to go for that minimum, because
That makes sense.
you know what I mean? If we start asking people for all of this information, that's all they're going to be doing, and they're not going to be able to implement their programs, right? And most of the grantees who have that minimum of 6 hours already have to report data. So it's not like it's an added burden to them. So that was part of our reasoning behind it. Okay. Go ahead.
So for those programs, are we putting in perspective the spaces? 'Cause I know having spaces is very hard to come by in UC, and I don't even know if programs have the ability to have spaces to hold programs for 6,000, right?
Mhm.
They may be only allotted 2 days a week for X number of hours. So how do we take into account those?
For programs that don't have space, and they only have like 2 days a week where they're able to meet and not the amount of hours, then that means that they would not have to give that data. And again, it's not saying that the other programs aren't making an impact and they're not doing anything for the students. That is not, I'm thinking about the burden, right? And the amount of data that needs to be collected is huge.
And the research does show that there has to be a certain number of hours with the youth per week to have impact. So there,
Correct.
science behind why we would have a minimum number of hours.
Right.
I'm just gonna say that the reporting doesn't have to be a huge amount of data.
Mhm.
What you want to know is give me a list of who participated in your program for this many hours,
Mhm.
whatever. And then the DME's office or Rossi or whoever is just gonna bump it against school attendance records to see whether kids who were in all these programs around the city had, had no less truancy or, better attendance.
Once we get all of the data, we'll be able to see those things.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily, like, we haven't decided how this is going to happen specifically. Like, for example, you're in one of my programs, so you already know you have to collect that information and submit it to me no matter what, right? You give me who the students are, you give me how much they have attended, you give me how many days they may have missed from school, you tell me about their suspensions and all of that. And so it'll be similar to that.
Going back to the point about like, what outcomes is the city most interested in learning about,
Mhm.
right? That's the key issue. Dr. Lowe mentioned attendance and like
Academics.
course marks or
Mhm.
the statewide proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
thing. Although not every young person in DC takes the state test if they attend private schools or whatever.
Right.
They still might be involved in youth programming,
Mhm.
right? So anyways, I think we just have to figure out like, what are the basic things that as a city, we want to find out about, like.
Go ahead.
I would say one of the things we know that we want to find out about is the demographics of the youth that we're serving, which requires a data sharing agreement with OSTE or DCPS, probably OSTE, which is a heavy lift for programs. So that is one to think about. So,
Yep.
I would suggest the average population,
yeah, that's the
a
demographic.
lot of the data that we're generating, that like is focusing on the average population. That's the area the city's focusing.
Okay. The other things that, like, attendance is huge. We're focusing on attendance. We're focusing on academics. We want them to, especially with the learning loss that has taken place. So those are the kinds of things that we're going to be looking for when we're talking about what impact programs are having. And so yes. Mm-hmm.
Maybe schools who, um, don't receive Learn 24 funding, but they would qualify for that because it's used for the fund.
Because they're receiving local funds. Uh-huh. Yes.
Oh.
Because it ties into the portal that we're talking about. Okay. Yep. No worries. Yes.
I just want to highlight what you made earlier about we want to have an apples to apples comparison.
Mhm.
And to me, I guess the most important thing, I don't have it in front of me, but I'm thinking about the needs assessment and whatever, like, what's the definition that they used to be able to identify those gaps? Because I think in addition to, attendance and academic achievement, I think, this also help, we should use a definition that will be able to match up to that needs-based assessment.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I guess it's sort of a question like, does this alignment that were they using the minimum 6 hours a week? I do feel like ultimately we probably should add something about a minimum 6 hours a week or a dosage, total dosage, as for spring break camps or summer camps or something like that. I just want to be a little more nuanced there. I find it question.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just have not seen research to support that, like that 1 week.
But sorry, as soon as I said the spring break, I guess I wanted to more highlight the summer camps, something where the total dosage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in most summer camps, right. Okay. I understand what you're saying now. Okay. Yes.
6 hours a week. And like academic versus, or social development, social. Like, do you have an idea of sample size for how many programs? People ask me.
I know that 924, you guys can tell us how many you have.
70. And we do not, while I can't tell you what percentage do academic versus recreation, et cetera, we do not dictate what they teach. So there are many that are sports based or social emotional mentoring based, so we're looking at some that are academic, it is a variety.
IC has 103 sites. And they all have to have an academic component and an enrichment component. So I said that we have 103 sites and they all have to have academic and enrichment in their programs. Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to take the opportunity.
Mhm.
My after school DC, we have two new staff members here, and Burnett, the new project manager for MADC, so should be in contact with probably everyone in the room at some point to talk about what that reporting process would look like. Because not only is it the one-stop shop for parents, there will be a phase in which there will be a district-wide reporting so that we can share this type of information, easily with our constituents. And then we also have Grace Reader, who is our new public affairs specialist.
Welcome to you both. We had our whole little powwow in the beginning. So again, this is a proposed definition. And so the question would be, because since we have enough people, we can vote. So excited. Are we looking to, I'll be quiet. You guys have to say what you want to do. Yes.
I don't know the specific recommendation, but I do feel like we should have met the minimum 6 hours a week to be inclusive or more nuanced in terms of dosage to reflect academic school year versus summer. I like the general
Okay. So academic school year versus summer. So make sure I'm clearly understanding. For example, 6 hours a week during the school year, but
some definition like that, but I think, like some programs are probably semester based versus the entire academic school year. So is it 6 hours a week for, X number of weeks during the school year? Or, and then for summer, is it X number of hours for, Y number of weeks? Because folks will be in different summer camps and stuff.
okay. So basically break it down for what is needed for school year, what is needed for summer. All right. Yes.
Week or dosage. Yeah.
Week or dosage.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I hear what you're saying. Any other thoughts, comments? Yes.
Data collection thing. Young people often participate in multiple out of school time.
Yes. Very true. You're absolutely right.
The entire week, but they also then go to a cooking class that meets a couple of hours a week, I just think, who is reporting on that student? Who owns that child? And if they do summer, are they getting counted again as a new participant in the city? Like, I don't know. Like, because even if we say we're serving, I don't know, let's say we're serving 100,000 youth, really 35,000 kids, just keep going to all the things all throughout the year.
DeAndre, can you speak to how perhaps we're doing that to make sure that it's not duplicated across programming?
Well, I know we talked a lot about matching up those students with the DCPS student identification number. That's really important because what we find is, to your point, that a lot of the OST grantees have participants that participate in multiple programs. They may only go to one program a few times a week and attend another one, and they get multiple identification numbers, like in the system, in the grant management system.
Oh, okay.
So we have a challenge of like unduplicating a lot of our records for the students. Even when we are transferring information and exchanging data between other agencies, that's a big part of it, because for them to even identify the students, they need some sort of identification number to match that with, especially like the LEA numbers, student ID numbers, CPS numbers. And if they don't have that, then you may get the same student over and over again, and it just makes that really good.
So with the data sharing agreements, we're doing our best to, we provide name, birthday, address, gender. They provide us back, then then we can get the student ID and we can deduplicate. But it's a process.
It's a process, and
Yeah, discussions that we're having are really important because when we go to rewrite these agreements, a lot of times we don't have included the things we're talking about now.
right.
So before the OST office submits those agreements with other agencies, I do think that we should have these type of discussions so that we're making sure that we're including the correct information.
Right.
It'll be relevant to DPR. It'll be relevant.
Absolutely, to all of us. But Margaret, I want to go back to what you were saying. If a student's in your program for this time and then right with someone else, the thing that comes to my mind is you're running the program, you run it 5 days a week, and the student is coming to your program 5 days a week, but then they leave and go do something else. Your program, you're counting that student for the time they were there with you, those 6 hours a week. When they go to a different program and do things there, if that's another 6 hours a week program, then they're going to be reporting data on that too.
That we're going to measure
Mhm.
tied to the program provider anyway,
Mhm.
but are strictly a measure of whether a child in and out of any kind of out of school time program has better attendance or better grades or better whatever.
They're going to be programs.
Which organization are you going to attribute the hours of for?
Okay, I understand what you're saying. To which organization? But I think of it this way. When you're reporting data for your out of school time program, you're giving me information about the students that you've had, who you've worked with, and the impact that your program has had on them. And so the same expectation would be for another program who is working with, and it could be the same child, like you said, they may have them 6 hours a week too. And so they're reporting the impact that they have on their child. And that's no different in my mind than the students in math. And how's he doing in math? He's in science, it may be different. So there may be two different impacts.
Like each program is meeting a different social need.
Exactly. Each program may be reaching something else.
We contribute that to the out of school time program.
Absolutely.
8 hours a day.
Absolutely.
Shared.
It is. It
Yeah.
definitely is. It definitely is. There's no question about that. It is shared. And some of the times it's very difficult for us, right, to make those connections. But it's the program likely. That's the key word there. Yes.
I like it's. Three has their, they have an out school time coordinator at the school. They have outside providers, they have clubs, they have the aftercare program. They have the care program. But there's somebody who is responsible because the coordinator carries all of that. So if Sarah is going to chess club on Thursdays and aftercare on Mondays and Tuesdays and track on Wednesdays, all of that is still under, to me, then all of that is under Tacoma's aftercare program or out of school time program. So if all of it, it's on the coordinator to make sure all of those individual providers are turning in the data so she can compile it.
Correct.
Compile it and turn it into that.
Correct.
If there's a grant.
If they're the grant, yes. 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 Correct. Okay. We have about 3 more minutes for discussion. I don't think, based on this conversation, that we are in a place to take a vote, because I did hear about some things that you may want us to think about. And it's something that we can think about, and then come back with another proposal based on this conversation. Typically, what we would do is try to make some changes, right? You know what I mean? And the amendments and all that kind of stuff. But this was our topic of conversation. There are other things that we actually have that we need to vote on. So this was a conversation. We got some ideas, some input. And so we'll go back, make some adjustments, and then hopefully at our next meeting, we'll be able to vote because I'll be sending this around, or somebody will send this around after we made some changes. And so please give us your feedback during that time when you get those emails. This way, when we do come back to have a vote, we'll already have everyone's input. All right. So thank you. That was a great conversation. Bless you. Great conversation. I like this group. Okay. All right. So now it is our commission and committee updates and our lightning rounds. And the reason we say lightning rounds is because we kind of go through it and we discuss it. There is some voting that we need to do based on what we talked about last meeting. And it's been out long enough for us to discuss. This has already been decided. Our meeting frequency and duration is going to be bi-monthly from 6 to 8, the last Thursday of the month. And it will be virtual except for the first and last meeting of the school year, and that is going to be in person. So this is our June meeting that's in person, and then our September meeting will be in person. We don't have the space yet for our September meeting, and so we need to, if you have ideas, please share them with us because I know y'all always want to come here. So, can I say it again? Right, but you have to be done by 7:30.
Oh, really?
Yes, you can only host it till 7:30. So
Big conference room on the
okay,
floor.
yeah, let us know. Yeah, just if you have a space that yeah, if you have a space that you'd like us to consider, please email it to what's the email address?
Learn24@dc.gov.
There you go, learn24@dc.gov. Because I know I'll end up getting a whole bunch of emails. All right. So the other thing is that all commission members are required to serve on a committee of the OST commission. So our question is, if you are not already on a committee, what committee do you want to join? Because we really need you guys on these committees. And not only that, um, we also need people to be the lead from some of these committees. And so I know we've reached out to a few people asking them. I'll turn it over to you because I know you reached out to some people asking them to be part of the committees.
Yes. Actually, shout out to Marcus Coates. So
Okay.
right up in the assessment committee.
I'm so excited. One more? Okay. But we will keep pushing. We will keep pushing because the requirement is for you guys to participate. Yes.
Any plans to make changes to that?
Um, Trying to think. Yes, I think yes. I think we are, but they were not going to be major changes. And so we do need to finalize that during the let's finalize that during the governance committee meeting.
Because in the needs assessment committee meeting, we discussed recruitment. I suggested creating an information like an interest form as a substitute.
Mhm.
Kind of revise the application just to see who's interested in potentially getting some involved.
Some more members. Yeah. I was just about to say this connects directly to what we're talking about because the things that we're going to be working on next, let me get to it, is well, we'll get to it. The proposed bylaw updates and changes is what we really need to focus on, which will help us be able to do the application. And so the strategic work plan, as you well know, was approved and is from 23 to 26. So over the next couple of months, the committees are going to be working to develop the tactics and timelines necessary to address the expected outcomes for 24 through 26. Um, the completed strategic work plan should guide the agenda and work of each committee in FY25 and beyond. So make sure that you're paying attention to the strategic plan when you're having your committee meetings and you are seeing the progress as you go through. One of the things that I did want to share is there are a lot of committees, right? And we're about to go through that. I try my hardest to try to at least peek my head in to many of them. So I may pop in to meetings. I know it's unrealistic for me to try to be at every single committee meeting. I am a part of the governance committee, but outside of that, I will pop in as much as I possibly can. And my plan is in the future to meet with the leads of those meetings together to have a conversation. And I think that that'll also help for us to have conversations with each other so we all know what's happening and what's going on. And then they can take the information back to their committee meetings. So, all right. So now let's talk about our proposed bylaws. Yay. Update number 1. We've already discussed this one. And it's really about we're just going to have to take a vote. And this is the one where we said instead of annually, we were going to do biannually for the needs assessment. And then on those off years, we were going to do the what's it called?
Progress.
Thank you, progress report. And so that's what this says. All right. And I think what I'd like to do is go through these. And let's just do them individually because if I wait to vote on all of them at the end, I think we'll get mixed up and confused. So, if this is the first one, I need a motion. Say it again. Thank you. Motion to approve the changes in bylaw number 1. Any seconds?
Can people
Second.
please
All
state,
right.
can people please state their names for the record, who approves and who seconds, just so that we can have an accurate notation?
Okay, no problem. Commissioner Hanson, motion. Commissioner Jones, second. And now we get to do a vote. Margot, Marcus, Hillary, I hear, Matt, Tiara, Andrea, Joanne, Walter, I approve. And Bajone's not here, and Dr. Lowe does not vote on these. All right, it passed. All right, we're going to the second one.
Can you state how many? Can you state how many approved, please?
Sure, how many approved? 7.
Just for the
Got-
record. Go ahead.
Yes, yeah, he, Mark is on it. 8. I have Margot, Marcus, Matt, Kiera, Andrea, Joanne, Walter, and myself. Got it? Okay, cool beans. This one, the only thing that we changed was notice of annual, regular, and special meetings. Because before it did not say anything about the special meetings. So we want to make sure that when we have a meeting that you guys have ample notice and the special meetings are included in that. Okay. Commissioner Hanson, motion to approve. Commissioner Berkeley, second. Now we get to vote. Oh, that's right. We vote, right? Okay. Margot, Marcus, no, Hillary, Matt, Kiera, Andrea, Joanne, Walter, I approve. That should be 8. I love it. All right, we can move on to the next one, update number 3. Actually, well, we've talked about how previously there was a strategic plan committee, and we have, because the coordination and collaboration, and I think it was funding and capacity were work groups. And so now, right, because the strategic plan was split up. So now we're saying instead of having them as work groups, let's make them committees. And so the coordination and collaboration committee the funding committee, and the name of the other one will be outcomes and needs assessment committee. Then we have a quality committee and a governance committee. So really in the bylaws, we're asking to take out the strategic plan committee and to add the other two as committees and not work groups. Commissioner Berkey approves. Commissioner Hanson seconds. All right. Commissioner Berkeley. Commissioner Coates. Commissioner Hanson. Oh yeah, never mind. You already did. Commissioner Commissioner Jenkins. Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Lamparter. Commissioner Peacock. And I approve. All right, we're getting through. We're getting through. Next one. All right, we already took out the strategic plan, so we won't even have to do anything with that. Now we're looking at the definitions. This is what we were talking about a few minutes ago when we were talking about the application. We want to be able to put the snippet of what each committee does. And so we're saying the Coordination and Collaboration Committee builds a strong and sustainable out-of-school time framework grounded in youth development best practices and rely on the input of youth, family, OST providers, experts, and government agencies. We took out to achieve this goal, and we said that the committee works to ensure strategic collaboration among various stakeholders, including, and we list out DME, DC Public Schools, DC Charter Schools, IC, Department of Recs and Parks and Recs, Employment Services, libraries, and other District of Columbia government agency, OST providers, families, and youth. Are we okay with this definition? Let's vote. All right, Commissioner Hanson, motion to approve. Commissioner Jenkins, seconds. I'm learning everybody's name. Oh, sorry. All right, Commissioner Berkeley. Commissioner Coates. Commissioner Hanson, you already know. Commissioner Jenkins, already know. Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Lamparter. Commissioner Peacock. And I approve. Oh, this is amazing. I'm so excited. Okay. The next one. This is the definition for funding and capacity committee. They work to ensure that all District of Columbia youth have access to diverse, high-quality programs in locations that meet the current demand for OST seats across the district. To achieve this goal, the committee works with OST providers, small, medium, and large, to support their financial, organizational, technical, and educational growth and development through the identification and referral to capacity building resources. We took out the word equitable. We took out convenient to them, and we took out and development to a wide range of OST providers, small, medium, and large. We kind of did some wordsmithing. Now, when I say we took out, committees developed these definitions and provided them to us. And so the we is each committee worked to come up with their definition for their committee.
Yeah, sure. So the group met twice on this.
Okay.
And the second time it was decided that all of the things that are on there, including everything in red, is really important and relevant for the purpose of a bylaw. We want it to be as broad as possible because terms change, what we're looking at, the different types of providers. Change a lot, but more about everything is important and would be discussed, but for the purpose of not having to change it was sort of where the conversation landed in the second meeting. Yes,
which means
there was concern from committee members that equitable and established trust within the community should be a part regardless of any changes because it is so tied to our mission. So, yeah.
Okay, so what I hear is an amendment based on what's here, or talk to me.
I guess just a discussion amongst commissioners on whether equitable and have established trust should remain as a part of the definition, or if we should remain general without those, determiners.
Okay. Discuss.
What's the reason for keeping establishments?
Reason for keeping
Yeah.
established trust?
Stay true to our mission and what we as a committee should focus on. But there were, it really kind of split down the line for our committee, that those that thought that it should remain broad and that we shouldn't, that work could be done in the committee and within the strategic plans, but that we shouldn't have any qualifiers. The bylaw definition should be very broad.
Okay.
But then
Otherwise,
some
it's like, how are you determining if a group is establishing trust?
Trust.
What
Mm-hmm.
what is that? Like, or what is that?
That was gonna be my question.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe not here.
Commissioner Hanson.
I think the only one I would ask is to go back is equitable access. I do feel like, I mean, that is, it's part of our mission. I do think it's something that we can be objective to. And then I also think would be, if we start to that definition a little bit, inclusive of convenient them, if we want to have equitable access. I similarly sure been concerned about the trust, like how do you really define
Mm-hmm.
that? And that could be worked out elsewhere, but for bylaws, I would.
So you're
we should include this.
okay. Yes. Okay. Third time.
Versus
Mhm.
established, but like really uncommon.
Okay.
I would.
Okay. Yes. The committee made that decision. So, I heard two different things and want to make sure that I'm clear. Commissioner Hanson, you said that you are requesting that equitable is put back in. Okay. Yes. To meet the current demand speaks to equity. Okay.
And I think that I think it's a place where it aligns with our mission and our values and is worth being upfront, because I don't think to meet the current demands, there's a bunch of different ways to get there, and I think we want to make sure folks have
Equitable. Okay.
diverse cycles.
Okay. So are we proposing something? Making a motion for something?
I motion that, I guess I could say, I motion we approve the proposed changes to the bylaws with the exception of striking equitable. So equitable stays in, all the other changes are made.
Okay.
So,
I would approve that.
So you second that? Cool beans. All right, so Commissioner Hanson proposed to accept this, except to add equitable back in, and Commissioner Lamparter seconds that. Okay, Berkey. Berkey approved. All right, Commissioner Coates. Commissioner Hanson, we already know. Commissioner Jenkins, Commissioner Jones, and Commissioner Peacock. Okay, and I approve. So that's 8. So we just need to add the word equitable back into this.
Yeah.
All right. Next. All right, the Outcomes and Needs Assessment Committee guides the OST Commission in establishing priorities for the use of out-of-school time funding based on current OST program needs. The committee assesses the outcomes and impact of OST affiliated government agencies providing program and services to K through 12 children and youth across the district. The OST office shall conduct a biennial OST needs assessment and biennial progress report alternating years of the needs assessment, working across the agencies to identify the need for out-of-school time programs and the progress made toward meeting the targeted needs. The committee informed decision makers, DC Council, and other government agencies on funding needs. That was a lot. What was taken out is sets the goals and scope of an annual community-wide needs assessment with the OST, which the OST office conducts to identify and prioritize needs for out-of-school time programs and establish targets for out-of-school time funding, which was reworded here. Commissioner Hanson motions to approve. Commissioner Jenkins seconds. Commissioner Berkey. Commissioner Coates. Commissioner Hanson. Commissioner Jenkins. Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Lamparter. All right, Commissioner Peacock. And I approve. That's 8. My goodness, oh my goodness. Ooh, this one took a lot out, but it was reworded. The Quality Committee works with the Learn 24 Office of Out of School Time Grants and Youth Outcomes, Institute for Youth Development, on the implementation of program quality assessments, quality improvement planning, youth surveys, training, and coaching in support of the continuous growth and improvement of OST providers. The committee works in partnership with the Institute to identify and determine trainings that provide high quality support in alignment with the needs of DC's youth. The part that was taken out is informs how assessments for quality out of school time programs should be implemented by the OST office. High quality programs engage youth in authentic expression of voice and choice by providing safe and supportive environments, caring adults, and structured activities. The commission prioritizes ensuring that Washington, D.C. youth have equitable access to high quality OST programs. The committee will guide the OST office on how to define, measure, assess, and increase program quality. Commissioner Hanson motions to approve. Commissioner Berkey seconds it. All right, Berkey, you already said yes. Commissioner Coates, Commissioner Hanson, Commissioner Jenkins, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Lamparter, Commissioner Peacock, and I approve. That is 8. I do like when we're in person. It seems like it smoothly. All right, so next is, make sure I didn't skip anything. That was quality. All right, next is the governance. Governance Committee, on an ongoing basis, reviews, revises, and updates the bylaws, examines conflicts of interest, makes changes or additions to committees, and acts on the behalf of the OST Commission in addressing urgent matters that cannot wait for the next OST Commission meeting, ensuring alignment with its best judgment of the OST Commission members' likely decisions given the circumstances. We took out reviews, revises, we rewrote it and updates the bylaws, reviews conflict of interest, change or add committees. Like, we really, what did we change? Like, cannot, oh wait, yes, we just worded it better. Okay, Commissioner Hanson motions to approve. Commissioner Berkey seconds it. Okay, so Berkey, we know. Commissioner Coates, Commissioner Jenkins. That's okay. No, because all right, you're right. I'm gonna keep it in order. Commissioner Hanson, Commissioner Jenkins, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Lamparter, Commissioner Peacock, Commissioner Me, I approve. We voted, and guess what? I appreciate the conversation that we had tonight, guys. I think we got a lot out of it. I am going to adjourn this meeting at 7:20. And I look forward to our next meeting. I believe, if I'm not wrong, that our next meeting is in September. Is that correct?
Yes, it's in September.
Okay.
I think we have to do a vote to adjourn.
Motion to.
Oh, we have to, oh, that's right. Okay, I tried. Okay.
A motion to adjourn, motion,
Right.
motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Hanson, motion to adjourn. Okay. Okay. All right. Berkey approved. Commissioner Coates approved. Commissioner Hanson, Commissioner Jenkins, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Lamparter, Commissioner Peacock. You want to abstain? Is that an approved? Okay, approved. And I approve. That's 8. So now we are adjourning at 7:21. All right. Thank you all so much. Dr. Lowe, hope all is